And that is how I enacted an executive order mandating that the One Piece manga be a part of all public and private school curriculum.
Big deal, Obama. I did basically the same thing during my administration.
Yes, Donald, and as we all know, the Supreme Court upheld the decision that Boku no Pico was not appropriate study material for minors.
Cowards. I appointed 3 Supreme Court judges and they couldn't even give me Boku no Pico.
You know, I've never actually seen Boku no Pico. Should I watch it with Jill tonight?
No.
Yes. Trust me, Joe, it's peak fiction.
Yeah, Boku no Pico. That's the one about the heroes, right?
It is the story of my personal heroes, yes.
All right, Nakama, it is now time for the weekly One Piece presidential podcast quiz.
Oh yeah, quiz time, Joe. I'm going to kick your ass again and become the quiz king.
Not this week, Donald. I've been rereading the series up to the end of Wano, so everything is fresh in my mind.
Oh yeah, Joe, your mind is about as fresh as one of Conjuro's cabbages. Let me put this in a way you might understand, Joe. When it comes to One Piece knowledge, I am Dr. Vegapunk, all of his satellites, Punk Records, the Gorosei, and Imu-sama. And you, Joe, you're Bocce.
Bocce? Who the hell is Bocce?
Oh my God. Bocce is obviously the fly that Full Body put into the soup at Baratier to try and humiliate Snanji. Not that Snanji needed the help.
I told you to stop calling him Snanji, Donald. He's a prince of the Germa kingdom in North Blue, and you will respect his name.
Joe, what's all this yelling about?
I'm recording the podcast, Jill.
Well, keep it down. I'm trying to watch One Piece Movie 6, Baron Omatsuri and the Secret Island.
How could you be watching One Piece Movie 6 without me, Jill? You know that Baron Omatsuri is my favorite.
Yes, Joe, I also enjoy it. The unique animation style and visionary direction of Mamoru Hosoda easily makes it one of the best films in the entire One Piece cinematic catalog. But I can't even get through the opening credits without you yelling.
I'm sorry, Jill. It's Donald. He keeps calling Sanji Snanji.
Oh, is that Donald irritating you again, Joe? Do you want me to speak to him?
No, Jill, I don't want you to speak to him.
Well, all right then, but you tell him to lay off my precious little Joseph, or I'll kick him in the sabos harder than Boa Hancock kicked that baby seal on Amazon Lily.
Yes, Jill, I'll tell him.
All right, well, enjoy your podcast, sweetie.
All right, guys, I'm back.
Welcome back, sweetie.
Shut up, Donald.
Did Mommy kiss your boo-boos all better?
Donald, she's my wife, not my mother.
Same difference?
Nakama, please. The weekly One Piece presidential podcast quiz has been kept waiting long enough. Now, you both know the rules. I will ask a question about the One Piece universe, and whoever buzzes in first gets to answer. Donald, would you now please test your buzzer?
Whip.
Excellent. And Joe, would you please test your buzzer?
What the hell was that?
It was my buzzer, Donald.
Oh, thank God. For a second, I thought that someone sailed to Jaya Island and violated a Southbird.
Shut up, Donald. I couldn't figure out how to record over the darn thing, so I'm stuck with the first noise I made.
Joe, it's fine. Nobody's judging you.
I'm judging you, Joe.
Barack, he's judging me.
And you know what else, Joe? You know One Piece Movie 6? Baron Omatsuri and the Secret Island? It's overrated.
Oh, that's it, Donald? You've officially crossed my red line. Baron Omatsuri is an undisputed masterpiece. The unique animation and visionary direction of Mamoru Hosoda easily makes it one of the best films in the entire One Piece cinematic catalog.
The main villain was a flower, Joe. An effing flower.
What do you have against flower power, Donald? I'd like to see you say that to Marine Admiral Greenbull.
Oh yeah, Peak Admiral. The guy who ran away and pissed his pants at the mere suggestion of Shanks.
Everyone pisses their pants in front of Shanks. You Gecko Moria look-alike.
Oh, please. Comparing me to Gecko Moria? That's pretty rich coming from someone who looks even more like a corpse than Soul King Brook.
I'm not just comparing you to Gecko Moria, Donald. I'm comparing you to Gecko Moria after having invoked Shadow's Asgard because you're the dumbest, fattest, and most useless form possible.
F you, Joe! After I win this quiz, I'll make you vanish faster than Stealth Black Snanji in a women's restroom.
That's right, Nakama, the quiz. Let's all focus on the quiz. As per usual, first president to 3 points wins. Question number 1. What is the name of the cursed sword that Zoro received in Logtown?
Whip!
Donald.
That is obviously the Sandai Kitetsu given to Zoro by Ippon Matsu in Chapter 97 of the series, which is also called Sandai Kitetsu.
Correct. That's 1 point to Donald. Next up, we have a visual question. Who is this character? Joe.
That's Kiwi from the Frankie family on Water 7.
Whip! Wrong, Sleepy Joe. That's clearly Mozu.
I'm afraid Donald is correct.
What? That's not fair. They look exactly alike.
Wow, Joe. That's the most racist thing I've heard since my speech to CPAC this morning.
I'm going to have to concur, Joe. This is starting to remind me a lot of Who's racist remarks towards Jinbei in Chapter 1018 during the Onigashima raid.
The raid should have failed.
I'm sorry, Barack, but I don't know how to tell them apart.
Oh my God, it's painfully easy, Joe. Mozu is the one who looks like a kiwi fruit, and Kiwi is the one who doesn't look like a kiwi fruit.
That seems intentionally confusing.
Be that as it may, Donald takes the point and is now 1 question away from winning the quiz. Next, and potentially final question. Who plays Luffy in the Funimation dub of One Piece? Joe.
That is obviously Colleen Clinkenbeard.
Correct. 1 point to Joe.
Did you do that on purpose, Obama? You know I have a medical exemption from watching the dub. The horrible voice acting and localization make it more torturous than Zorro absorbing Luffy's bubble pain on Thriller Bark.
At least Zorro had the decency to shut up about it and say nothing happened.
Joe, you can't seriously expect me to listen to the pristine vocals of goddess Mayumi Tanaka for 20 years and then accept anyone else in the role of Luffy.
Donald, the question was, who plays Luffy? Not, please give me an incoherent and elitist ramble regarding the criminally underrated Funimation dub.
Damn you, Obama!
Moving on with the quiz. Next question. In the official Viz translation.
Oh my God!
What are the names of the leaders of the mink tribe? Joe.
Easy, Barack. That's Dogstorm and Cat Viper.
Correct.
Whip. Wrong. Even if that is what the official translation says, the only correct answer is Inuarashi and Nekomamushi. Dog, corn, and cat butt wiper sound stupid and should never have been literally translated from a pragmatic perspective.
Dog, corn, and cat butt wiper are incorrect, Donald. Joe takes the point.
Suck it, dumbass. I'm going to beat you and become both the president and the quiz king.
You're rigging the quiz, Obama. This is an unprecedented fraud in the One Piece community.
Nobody is rigging the quiz, Donald.
Who gave you these questions, Obama? Was it Dominion? I knew it was Dominion.
Nakama, please, the next correct answer wins the quiz. Our final question is, when did Luffy become an Emperor of the Sea? Joe.
The undeniably correct answer is that Luffy became an Emperor of the Sea after Whole Cake Island.
Whip. Wrong. Cheatin' Obama is using another nasty trick question.
What the hell are you talking about, Donald? After Whole Cake Island, an article was published in the World Economy newspaper claiming that Luffy had become the 5th Emperor of the Sea.
Oh, please. Do you believe everything published by fake news Morgans, Joe?
He's a credible journalist, Donald.
How can there be 5 Yonko, Joe?
What?
Y-O-N-K-O. Yonko, Joe. It means 4 emperors. How can there be 5 emperors?
There were 4 and then Luffy became the 5th.
Then why aren't they called the Goko, Joe?
Because nobody knows what a Goko Joe is.
Oh my God. Joe, you don't get it. This is a trick question from the predictably cheating Obama. The correct answer is that Luffy never became an emperor.
Are you such a Zorro fanboy that you became him and accidentally lost your own mind, Donald? Even if I was wrong about Whole Cake Island, post-Wano Luffy is definitely an emperor.
Whip. Wrong.
Stop buzzing, Donald. You're only supposed to buzz when you answer a question. Barack, he won't stop buzzing. If he doesn't stop buzzing, then I'm going to have to buzz too.
Oh, now you're buzzing, are you, Joe? What happened? I thought you were only supposed to buzz when you were answering a question.
That's right, I'm buzzing, Donald. I'm buzzing because you won't stop buzzing.
We've had 46 presidents of the United States, and somehow these are the only 2 caught up with the manga.
I can't believe you disconnected me, Obama.
Yeah, Barack, that was uncalled for. I had that situation entirely under control.
Joe, you had about as much control over that situation as Impel Down Warden Magellan has control over his bowels.
I can't believe you shit your pants, Joe.
I did not shit my pants, Donald.
While you clean up, Joe, I've got a question for you. Have you heard of Rob Lucci?
Of course I've heard of Rob Lucci. He was the primary antagonist of the entire Water 7 saga and the de facto leader of CP9, not counting Span Dam.
That's the first thing you've gotten correct all day, Joe. Now here's the next question. What did Rob Lucci say in chapter 1071? Do you remember, Joe?
Of course I remember what he said, Donald. Lucci said,
Did Lucci really say that, Joe?
Darn it! I pressed the darn buzzer by mistake.
Well, let me remind you, Joe. Rob Lucci said that he doesn't view Luffy as a Yonko.
So what? We both know that Lucci doesn't have the authority to make that decision.
Neither does Fake News Morgans, Joe. And who's a more trustworthy source on this matter? An agent working for the world government or a bird in a balloon?
You know what I think, Donald?
Joe, not even you know what you think.
I think you're a Rob Lucci dick rider, Donald.
How dare you accuse me of dick riding, you dick rider?
Dick rider.
We both know you're
dick
the
rider.
one who rides
dick
all
rider.
the dicks,
Dick
Joe.
rider.
Even if
dick
I wanted
rider.
to ride a
dick
dick,
rider.
I can't
dick rider.
because you're
dick
hogging
rider.
all the dicks.
Dick rider.
Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. Just who are you calling a dick rider?
I'm still recording the podcast, Jill.
I don't care what you're recording, Joe. I will not have that kind of foul language being used in our home.
But Jill, it's Donald. He keeps saying that Luffy isn't an emperor.
Joe, I don't care if he said that Shanks would lose to Mihawk in a fight. That still wouldn't be an excuse for calling someone a dick rider.
But Jill.
No, Joe. I've had enough of this. I'm going to speak to Donald.
Jill, no.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs.
Hello,
Biden.
Mrs. Biden.
Now, Donald J. Trump, I'm only going to say this once. As far as the world is concerned, Luffy is a fully fledged emperor of the sea. Big News Morgans may have given him that title, but Luffy more than earned it. He's the only pirate to have invaded Enies Lobby, Impel Down, and Marineford. He defeated 3 warlords of the sea, Donald, 3, and led the attack on Onigashima, which directly resulted in the defeat of both Big Mom and Kaido. If that's not enough to be considered an emperor, then I don't know what is.
But Mrs. Biden...
Don't you Mrs. Biden me, you out-of-season sky pumpkin. I will not have you slandering the future pirate king. Now, what do you have to say for yourself, Donald?
Luffy is a Yonko.
I can't hear you, Donald.
Luffy is a Yonko.
Ego onegai shimasu, Donald-san.
Luffy is an emperor.
Good. Now, Joe also tells me that you had a critique of One Piece Movie 6, Baron Omatsuri and the Secret Island.
That's not true, Mrs. Biden. Baron Omatsuri is an undisputed masterpiece. The unique animation style and visionary direction of Mamoru Hosoda easily makes it one of the best films in the entire One Piece cinematic catalog.
That's what I thought. Now, you play nicely with my precious little Joseph. And Barack, please say hi to Michelle for me.
Yes, Mrs. Biden.
All right, guys, I'm back.
Well, with that, it's time to announce the results of the quiz. Whilst an interview in One Piece magazine stated that Luffy could more accurately be referred to as the man who stood beside the 4 emperors after Whole Cake Island, as far as series canon goes, this was when Luffy became an emperor.
Rigged!
Which means that Joe is correct and has the 3 points needed to win.
Stop the count!
Suck it, Donald. I beat you at the pirate quiz.
This is going all the way to the Gorosei Obamna.
Does he mean the Supreme Court?
Joe, I think we should seriously consider asking Bill to catch up to the series.